Part 1. When I was in my 30s, my mother and I became estranged from each other. I remember the moment the fragile house of cards that was our relationship collapsed and finally flew apart. For some years, I couldn't or wouldn't attend family functions, and then I solved the problem by moving to another state, where I continued to carry and nurse my wound and keep my heart hard. I'm not proud of the years that passed, and I'm so grateful that I was given a second chance to let go and make things right. You see, as my mother aged, she became quite accident-prone. She had trouble walking and driving, speaking, writing. It happened gradually, but eventually it was obvious something was wrong. Her sister had similar symptoms, as did their father before them. 2 of my brothers and 3 of my cousins as well. Then, when she was 75 years old, a doctor diagnosed her with a hereditary disease that causes the degeneration of equilibrium and motor skills due to the hardening of the cerebellum. She left that office with an incurable disease, but it allowed her to let go of a lifetime of feeling clumsy and incompetent and angry. She left the office instead light as air and maybe happy for the first time in her life. It was an amazing transformation to witness. Of course, not long after the diagnosis, she became more and more dependent on others to assist her with all activities of daily living: bathing, dressing, eating, everything. And when my father was no longer able to do it himself, he asked me to help. This became my second chance. Trust me, it was impossible to continue to harbor a grudge when providing such intimate care for her. The second chance gave me many memories that I now cherish, but one stands out for its simple, sweet beauty. One late fall afternoon at sunset, that was to become a few months before she passed, I decided to take her for a walk. Now, this was no small task because she was completely non-ambulatory at the time. So the footrests had to be found and installed. Shoes that no longer touched the floor had to be found and slipped on. And a light jacket that had not been worn for a year or more found and put on. We first slowly strolled east down the block, and then as my father became fatigued, we turned around to head back, only to witness a breathtakingly, stunningly beautiful Arizona sunset. Do you know the kind I'm talking about? My mother, who hadn't spoken for a number of years well enough to be understood, held out her wobbly hand as if to touch it, and clearly said, "Oh, I like that." "Yeah," my dad and I said in surprised unison. "Me too. Blessed be."